Well, I'm Goose Carlson.
I'm Stephen Kellogg.
I'm Steve Maggetts.
And I'm Boots Factor.
And we're the Sixers.
Yeah, it was a huge milestone for us. We've been a band together for 7 years and been through a lot of situations together, and it was just fun to celebrate all those situations and gigs and drives and experiences together. In New York of all places, my hometown. We're all pretty close to that area. Had family, friends, just a celebration of the past 7 years. So it was a lot of fun.
For me, the new guy, I was about 100 shows in maybe, or 200 shows in. So it wasn't quite the same, but it was still something to be part of. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and I think obviously you start playing music. I think when you start out, you're just happy if anybody comes to the shows, or you sell a CD. And then you go along and your expectations gradually increase and you start thinking, wow, if we could do this, could we do that, and what could we get to? And some of our ambitions and things that we hope to do musically, we haven't realized yet, and we're working on that. But one thing that was really neat at that moment was you're celebrating a milestone, so you're forced to step back and say, well, we were around longer than most bands are ever around, and that says something just about the commitment that we had and what we were able to do. So that was kind of a good moment where you forget about the future for a minute and you just get to really say, hey, this is something no one can ever take away from you. It was like a college education, it's like graduating. Well, we were we were definitely boys when we started this band. I mean, the music we were making was a lot of it was about girls, and we were kids, and we're men now. I mean, a lot happened in our lives. Marriages, and in my case, kids, and all that work and all that time together and all that stuff. And that's a huge. I mean, sure, there's musical growth and there's changes, but it's an amazing thing to start out as boys and kind of come through the thing and be like, wow, now we're adults now, we're men, So I was a boy and now I'm a man.
I'm a man,
as evidenced by the thick beard.
Yeah. For me, I came from a very trained background. I went to school a lot for music, and I came from a very logical left brain side, and nobody else in the band ever took lessons or anything like that, and so it was really eye-opening for me to be around people who came from a different place, because it's music that I'd never heard. I listened to a lot of jazz and classical, and then I learned about Bob Dylan and the band and the Eagles, and so there's the musical side of it, and then just how other people see music through their own eyes when they come from a different place. It's helped me a lot as a musician.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is I didn't really sing before the band, and then as I entered, we made a big thing out of harmonies and stuff, and that was something I learned a great deal about being in this band. So that's my thing.
And for me, I learned to multitask and dance and play at the same time.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something I never did until this band.
I mean, for a number of years, I did a lot more pushing than learning, and but in the most recent years, I think it's just learning to be more disciplined about what you're doing, and a lot of what Kit got from the band, we got the other side of things. So getting a little bit more, formal training and learning not to overplay, or at least attempting. It's a work in progress. But that's awesome. I'm glad you asked that, because we started pre-production for our new record this summer, and as soon as this tour finishes, we're going into the studio for November to make this new record, and really excited to do. We've always gone in, we've always done things kind of like old school and fast and all that, and we're excited. We're making a real American record this go around, like like it's a rock and roll record. It's Heartland music, which is why I was joking around about Heartland Rocks. But it's like what Mellencamp was doing in '82 and the Wallflowers were kind of doing in the '90s. It's just like, you know, we're excited about the themes on the new record. It's really cool. Well, musically, it was because, you know, the last record we made was pretty dark and kind of like and pretty quirky, but it was a darker record, and it felt like it was great. It was what we had to make, but now it feels like making a record that's a little more uplifting and triumphant, and that's how life is feeling right now to us. So that's exciting. Thematically, you know, we spent 5 weeks last year overseas playing for the military, developed a tremendous appreciation for that, you know, politics aside, just like, you know, very, very thrilled to be American and very lucky, feel extremely lucky that we were born into this situation where we can be playing as a rock band, and so, and that's just, I mean, mainstream countries kind of, you hear that, but I mean, it's truly exciting to me, and the whole, like, you know, being in a family, all these things that they sing about in country music, but I'm not hearing a lot of it in rock right now. So it made me, so we started writing songs about that. That was like the feeling. I was like, you know, and so that's the thematic reason, and then that music presented in the uplifting sense and spirit that the lyrics were written. It seems like the logical place to go. So.
The causes that we, you know, the two biggest causes that we've done stuff for are the troops and the St. Jude Children's Hospital. And for the St. Jude Children's Hospital, it's I think Stephen was in a movie theater one time and saw one of the previews before movie for that, and just said, you know, no matter where you are in your career, there's still a way to help people on every level, on some level anyways. And so we just called them up and we got a hold of them, and we've done some stuff with them and done charity stuff with them, and we just took that attitude towards trying to give back at the level that you're at, wherever that is, and did it with the troops, and you know.
Well, and it's that sense of feeling grateful, you know, like wow, like this has been our job for 7 years. How cool, how incredibly cool is that? So let's go, like, you know, we're in this country, there's a lot of need, a lot of people need to be entertained and need to have something to smile about and need good music, and so this, like, you know, the desire set up and you start looking around, where does it make sense, who might dig what we're doing, and so we figured kids would dig it.
Exactly.
But I mean, you know, kids and troops.
Kids and troops.
Kids with troops. Well, it gets it away from the egocentric kind of, you know, when you, like, in the beginning, I mean, it's easy, it's easy to just write about yourself, and when you go out and you're playing for other people, especially, you know, overseas where there's all different musical tastes or something, you know, you're on a bass, it's not like they're all Sixers fans and lining up, you know, so you have to connect whether they know your music or not, whether they've heard it on the radio or friends played it for them or something or not, you have to connect, like, right there. Same with kids. They don't care if you're supposed to be cool or if you're, you know, you got a good write-up in the Times, like, doesn't matter. All they care about is, like, do you seem cool right then? Are you entertaining them? And that's awesome. I mean, it's just great because it really keeps you honest. Is this music actually good? Is it connecting on a human level? And that, when you start doing that, then it takes some of the ego battle out, you know, and some of the rock star stuff goes away, and you just, and that's nice, because then when you get up and play, whether you're playing to a big crowd or a small crowd, you're not looking at the crowd expecting them to give it to you. You're out there just like, I'm going to put this music out in the world, you know, and I think that's a healthier place to make music from than needing sort of the fans and the attention and things.